This is Sara Hansen with my reportorial historical speech for this week. I've got my friend Cammie as the camera lady, and I have my family and she as the audience members for today. Okay, welcome. Today we are meeting as the National Association of Realtor Board to discuss our strategic priorities and review them and see where we've been, where we've gone, and where we want to go. First, I want to remind you of why we're a part of the association. Whoops. Here's a little clip for you.
The American dream. It's more than tank tops, fireworks, and high cholesterol. It's all that stuff in a house that you own. Because home ownership, that's as American as ditching the metric system. You think we put men on the moon so future generations can say, buying a house seems hard? We don't think so. So we won't rest until we fulfill your domestic destiny. I mean, we'll sleep, but not that soundly.
Okay. I think my favorite part of that commercial is when he says, we're here to fulfill your domestic destiny, because that's what we as realtors really want to accomplish, is having home ownership here in the U.S. First, what we're going to review and what my expectations of this presentation are is for you to be able to see where our strategic plan has come from and where we want to go. My purpose is to just help you understand how that benefits us and how it can help us in the future and what we have accomplished to get there, because it's taken us a lot. Then at the end, I'll ask for questions. So please, if you could hold them until that point, and then we'll take a vote as to how we would like to proceed with the information that's provided. We're going to go back about 5 years ago in 2013 when the NAR decided to really poll the realtors among the U.S. We wanted to know how we could do better. We visited many different states across the U.S. where they have large memberships, and we polled about 4,500 professionals, not all of them real estate agents or brokers. We had about 18% that were just professionals within the real estate field that help us be better realtors. And there was 28 total workshops, and we got a big consensus of about 9 points that we really needed to focus on. This was what we called our Rethink initiative. So we came up with, in 2014 through 2016, a 2-year plan that we called our strategic plan. The first 3 points that we wanted, that we were told was needed, was a change in our organization. The realtors wanted to see us get younger leadership into the organization and up at the top where we're at. They wanted to reduce the duplicity of associations, because in some areas there was overlap, and they wanted to see a reduction of that so that they could be a part of larger areas without paying double memberships, and also to take smaller associations and give them a boost. We also wanted more education in politics and advocacy. They wanted us to become a better leader in the data of information that comes from homes. So we needed to take back Realtor.com and utilize it. They wanted to raise the standards in the profession, or even just enforce the code of ethics and standards of practice. They wanted us to more distinguish the realtor name as a professional and something that is sought after in our community. We also needed to forge greater ties with the public, make sure that the public knew what we stood for and what we were about. Highlight the value of being an actual realtor, an actual member of the National Association of Realtors, and collaborate with our community. So let's get started. On the organization, they wanted to restructure and include younger leadership. Now, that took us a little bit of time, but we've added Victoria Gillespie and Shannon McGaughan to our senior management team, both to help us in our political advocacy and marketing. We wanted to reduce the duplicity in associations. So I'm going to give you a little example. A few years ago, when I was part of an association called the Lexington Buena Vista Rockbridge Association of Realtors, quite a long name. They were small and had a small area, but they decided to take up some even smaller associations. This is what their website now looks like. This was part of what we did in 2014, 15, and 16. You can kind of see that now includes not just Rockbridge County, but Allegheny County, Augusta County, Botetourt, Amherst, and Highland County. These are all associations that were alone by themselves, and we have combined to be one association. This helps the realtors that were in those smaller associations get more benefit from being a part of the NAR. They get heard more because they're a part of a bigger association. Also, more education in politics. A big part of this was in 2013. I just want to share just this little snippet for you. So as we were gathering all this information in 2013, HUD Secretary Sean Donovan made an appearance at the NAR legislative meetings. They asked that sexual orientation become a part of our code of ethics. And in 2014, after several policy changes at the government level, we were able to do that. So now you can see that our code of ethics reads, realtors shall not deny equal professional services to any person for reasons of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity. This is a huge step as far as the LGBTQ community within the profession of being a real estate agent or a broker, and also within our community of helping our citizens grow in their home ownership and the availability of home ownership. Next, be a leader in data. We were tired of seeing that our consumers or customers were going to the internet and then coming to us looking to verify or get extra data on homes that they could find elsewhere. So we took back Realtor.com, we changed the look of it, we made it look better, we've added several things to it. It's now a little more user-friendly. You can find a mortgage, find a realtor, do home values, get information, and use your own home up here to keep that data running through your head, so maybe you know when is the good time to sell or buy or vice versa. So we're really making progress with that. Raise the standards for entry into the profession. This one was a little more difficult. We haven't done as much as we would like to with this, and part of that is because becoming a real estate agent is more at the state level. Each state has their own requirements for how many hours you need. So more of that, we just have enforced the code of ethics and standards of practice. And then distinguish the realtor name. That's come with our Get Realtor program campaign, and we'll discuss more of that later. Forge ties with the public. So our goals were learn what the public likes. Each year we conduct a survey. We poll people and members of the community and find out how did they find their realtor? How did they find their house? How many of them were a referral from a friend? Things of that nature, which help us gather data as to where we can better communicate with the public how to use a realtor and how to find a property. You'll find that in several of the surveys, they are still using, up to 95% of people are using the internet to purchase a home. This is just one. This was from an old survey in 2014. Referred by a friend or neighbor or relative, first-time home buyers, they got to their realtor, 50% of them by referral. So this is really good data for us. Highlight the role and values of realtors. The little commercial clip I showed you at the beginning, that's part of it. That helps us give the public a better idea. As you can see in that little clip, the realtor was funny, he was knowledgeable, he helped you feel like that was a place where you wanted to spend your time and find your home. And lastly, collaborate. We really wanted our real estate agents to go out and be a part of the community and collaborate with several other people. Part of that is in our Realtor magazine. You can find ideas often of how other associations are collaborating. Like in Wilmington, North Carolina, they have what's called, it's in May, and it's called like Collaborate Day, or they go out, the Realtor Association there goes out and takes time in the community, either through sponsoring a 5K or having other small businesses come in and talk about the value that they can add to home ownership. Now, in 2017, we didn't do a whole lot. We just tried to hold our position and make things solid and solidified. We gained a new CEO at the time, and so we were trying to keep ourselves steady. In 2018, we changed to strategic priorities, which I'll show you here. This is what they are this year. Define what can be measured in professionalism. Further separate the realtor from the licensee. Get more members to understand the connection between getting involved in advocacy and sustaining it for their business. Start influencing other issues that impact real estate areas like technology. That's a big one, since that's where most people go to find their home. And lastly, I want to point out that realtors must be relevant before, during, and after the transaction. Homeowners want to know that they're getting value from the money that they pay, especially sellers, since the sellers pay the fee. And this is where part of our decision making will come in today, is whether we want to put money towards helping our public understand the value of a realtor. There was a Property Online Inc. They did a huge survey, which I'll share with you privately through email, about how this happens and how much of the technology is used to find your home. And in it, that's where we get the numbers that we've used today, as far as like 95% of people today versus 10 or 20% in 1995 were finding their homes. It's now through technology. Here is a current snapshot. I wanted to share this with you because it really shows how far we've come. Right here it says 91% of sellers used a real estate agent in selling their home. That is at an all-time high. So we definitely have been doing our job as far as connecting the public to real estate agents. And then sellers, home buyers, 87%. That's where we need to close the gap. Why are our buyers not using an agent, whereas our sellers are? That's where I think we would like to see an increase. To maybe at one point we could get it so close to 100 or at 100% of all the buyers are using an agent. Now, how are we going to keep growing? So this is our strategic priority for this year. A lot of it I'm going to point out in here, because this is the other decision we could make, is to put our money towards political advocacy. Right now the government is very polarized. There's a lot of people who are on negative and positive sides of it, and it's changing a lot of what happens. The home inventories are shrinking, and so we need to really look at how we can make things more open. Broaden the NAR influence and increase consumer engagement through partnerships with like-minded organizations to enhance our advocacy, influence, and more visibly position realtors as community leaders. That would be really cool, because like I said, in Wilmington, their mayor actually used to be a realtor. So, are there any questions that anybody has? Yes, Lois. She's taking herself off mute. One moment.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
My question is, when you were talking about how buyers and
Yes.
Do you find that socioeconomics change that value? Does it change with the socioeconomics of the community as to whether or not they use a real estate agent or whether they don't?
I think it could, because I think there's a stigma out there that not only do sellers have to pay to use a realtor, but buyers as well. And so that's where we could educate the public, letting them know that the fee comes from the seller's side and not the buyer's side. So I think it could. I'm not exactly positive. I'd have to get back to you on that. One last question.
What kind of
Mo.
ideas do you have, other ideas do you have to like up the people using a realtor to buy homes?
Up the use of people using a realtor. I really believe the biggest part is education, and also getting realtors within their community to go out and be seen. A lot of realtors, especially some, like to work behind a desk. They don't like to be seen. They they rarely go out, or they only go out when they feel it's necessary to show homes. Whereas if they got out and became members, more engaged in their community and efforts that their community needs, then maybe they would be more, the members would be more willing to use a realtor. Okay, so now we're going to take our vote. With the extra money we have in our budget, do you want to add more to the Get Realtor campaign, or do we want to add more to our political advocacy? So by raise of hand, let's see who wants to add to the Realtor campaign. Oh, okay. I think it's unanimous. We will add our money to the Realtor campaign. I just want to tell you thank you for being here today, and I hope that you've learned something. And just to remind you that this is what our job is to make the American dream come true. Thank you.